Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Friday, November 15th, and that means it's the usual Q&A episode. I don't know if we've had a week with better questions, so I'm really excited to get into those. We'll do that right away. Do want to remind you that we're brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering what's next. For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question. Whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. You'll also notice a different background. I'm in Columbus, excited to cover Penguins Blue Jackets tonight. I would expect Tristan Jarry to get his first start in some time. It's going to be very interesting. So, all right, let's get going here. Sko at SKO0024 asks a very good question. What are some things the Steelers can do to get TJ Watt free from double team? Should they move him around at the line? Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Sean, for that question. One, I think it's difficult for the Steelers to get TJ Watt free. He's going to get double teams. That's just a matter of fact. TJ talks about this a lot. There's guys chipping him and always, worrying about him, and his one-on-one battles are few and far between. One thing that the Steelers did last week, though, I thought this was interesting. This was before Alex Highsmith went out. They had him, TJ Watt, Highsmith, and Preston Smith all on the field at once. Is that something they could do with Herbig and Smith again this week? I think it's possible. Run some sort of stunt to the outside, even a stunt with the defensive end, whether that's Cam, whether that's Larry Ogunjobi. So, you can get creative to a point, but I think some of it is just TJ Watt's really good, and teams don't want him to beat them, and I understand absolutely. John Gilger at OC Lion asks, next player out of town for the Pens as far as trade will be? Hopefully nobody. Hopefully they figure this out, but the ones I'd be looking at, Marcus Pettersson and Ricard Raquel. Raquel has had an excellent start to the season. I would imagine that he would fetch something at this point. Pettersson, if they wanted him here, I feel like there would be an extension done already. Carlson and Jarry are two names that get talked about, but I don't see how you could trade them. I just don't. Carlson's contract is ugly. Jarry, I don't know if I need to say too much more about that, but the two I'd be mentioning, Ricard Raquel and Pettersson, excuse me. Hey, PGH McCafferty, 67287 this early in the season, or the Pens really selling already? All right, so this is tied to the Lars Eller trade, right? And this is I think I talked about this a little bit on the pod before. If not, we'll just reiterate those thoughts. But not that it makes it great, because I don't love it. I wish they kept Lars Eller. I think they're a better team with Lars Eller. But if you're looking at a reason for what they're doing, it's a continual goal of Kyle Dubas to get draft picks now and in the future, et cetera, try to restock the cupboard. I get that. If you're going to deal from a position of relative depth, I think that's what we're looking at here. Like, you can have Blake Lizotte take those minutes. You can have Kevin Hayes take those minutes. Matt Nieto is somebody, he's going to be coming back tonight. This may be kind of what contributed to the Penguins' willingness to trade Eller, rather than the Capitals meeting their asking price, saying, like, there's bottom six stuff you can do. Again, they're a better team with Lars Eller than without them. So I don't think it's a fire sale as much as a, an opportunity to get better. And I feel like I'm defending it by saying that, so I don't like it. But again, I think that's the reasoning more so than this being some sort of like massive sell-off. Max Pinnell at MaxP_Volume2 asks, how many wins did the Steelers need to win the division, assuming a split with Baltimore? Yep, I would agree with you, Max, and I'm looking at probably 11, at least 11, maybe 12 would be great. Put them at 7-2 right now. They should get to 11 wins. I'm just fascinated to see how this goes the rest of the way. A split with Baltimore, if you tell me that, I'm signing up for it. A sweep of Cincinnati would be great, but I don't know how easy that's going to be. I feel pretty good about a sweep against Cleveland. That's fine, but a sweep against Cincinnati, and then your other two were Kansas City and Philadelphia. Not easy games. If you watched the Eagles last night, I was watching that here in my hotel room, and first quarter was a little slow, and then they turned it on. And what they did in the fourth quarter with Saquon Barkley, like, that ain't easy. Steelers struggled to stop the run against the Giants. Saquon Barkley is a different discussion. Anyway, I would say 11 wins, at least 11 wins. I'd feel a heck of a lot better with 12. I think a lot depends on where they come. All right. We have from yesterday a different sort of message. Normally there's a video, going to be rotating that with a read and some messages from the Bradenton area about how they're rebuilding post-hurricane. So again, here goes it with that. Ready for an escape from the everyday. The Bradenton area on Florida's west coast is welcoming visitors. Our world-famous beaches are being restored to their pristine states. Beloved island businesses are bouncing back faster than expected, and our signature Floridian cuisine is just as fresh as ever. Don't wait. Start planning your visit today at BradentonGolfIslands.com. My heart started hurting the other night. I was at an event with the Fan, and Larry Richard was there, and he's like the ambassador to Bradenton, and he was going down there for a couple days for like a quick trip, and he's going to be back by Saturday. It's like, Larry, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. I want to be down there as well. It's a great place, a resilient place. So anyway, AP at Big Money AP. What are the Pirates' plans this offseason? Are they going to be active in free agency and actually sign quality players, or is it going to be the same old garbage? Yeah, there's some frustration there. I get it. I understand it. I would think they would be active in free agency and trade. I would hope they would be active in free agency and trade. Again, as we come out of this, I've been talking about this on the pod a little bit in other places. There needs to be a little bit more of a sobering look. I mean, everybody was mad, didn't quite understand. I don't quite understand keeping the same regime in charge, and I'm not backing off of that. It's not, I wrote that. I'm not going to change my opinion now. At the same time, I think we've seen enough that they're going to run it back with this group. So we kind of need to think a little bit more logically and less emotionally, right? So what are the Pirates' plans? What are you going to do? What are you going to build around? Look at their starting rotation. Again, it's very good. Start with Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, Luis Ortiz, Bailey Falter. I'm fine with him in there. You can go out and double that. You really can. And what I mean by that is Johan Oviedo is going to be back and a part of this thing. Mike Burrows, Bubba Chandler, Thomas Harrington, Braxton Ashcraft. Those are 10 really good arms. So you start with that. In the bullpen, if you can fix things, and I promise I'm going to get to the plans here, and I'll try to do it quickly. But if you look at the bullpen, if you can somehow fix David Bednar, Colin Holderman, supplement them with Kyle Nicholas and Carmen Majinski, go out and get an arm or two. One of them needs to be left-handed. I like where they're at. And start with the pitching. Joey Bart was fine. You need to get Brian Hayes healthy at third. I'm okay with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at shorts. Let's say Nick Gonzalez to move along at second. I'm fine. There's a giant hole at first base. Maybe it's Brian Reynolds. I don't know if I like that. I'd probably like to see them go out and get a first baseman. I think they know that. And so far, in what I talked about, we haven't spent a single dollar. The Pirates, whether you like or disagree with it or anything like that, spent about $34 million in free agency last year. Again, right now, I haven't spent a single dollar. I don't see why you can't go sign a first baseman for $15 million, preferably a multi-year contract. That's your need. It is very targeted. Now, let's say they line up with somebody in the outfield, and you need to move Reynolds to first. You need to find another first. I'm okay with that. But you need to go get a bat. I'm talking 800-ish OPS, maybe above, somebody on a multi-year deal, somebody that's going to hit 3, 4, 5 in your lineup, no questions defense, a legitimate player, not some flyer who needs, playing time as an opportunity, a legitimate player. That should be their biggest plan. You got to figure out what to do with Andrew McCutchen. And I said before, probably supplement the bullpen with an arm or two. If they do that, I'd be thrilled. I think you guys would as well. Steve Berman asks, why is Derek Shelton still employed by the Pirates? The Phillies have had 3 different managers in the last 5 years. I get it. And I think that there's, again, I have not endorsed the return of Shelton. I can provide you with their reasoning. I think they think that they're close. I think they think that Shelton has a bunch of knowledge built up over the past 4 years on how things work, how to relate to players, etc. I think people on the outside will probably disagree with that. And I think they think it makes more sense for them to run this back and just get a little bit closer with Derek Shelton. And they believe in him, clearly. His ability to relate to players, to get the best out of players. Again, I disagree with that. You disagree with that. But you asked the question about why they keep him. Gary Morgan asks a good one. This isn't about blame. It's almost, it doesn't matter anymore. Are you surprised the Penguins haven't replaced Mike Sullivan? In other words, he doesn't have to be the scapegoat, but for hockey, it's remarkable he hasn't been replaced, right? Gary Moe, at Gary Moe 2007. Gary's a good friend too. Yes, very surprised Mike Sullivan hasn't been replaced. Okay. There are 2 sides of my brain on this. That's the hockey brain, right? Most other situations in hockey, he would have been replaced. They're very quick to change out coaches. He's been here a very long time. Things have been not good at all. On the other hand, look at what Tom Werner has said, how Fenway Sports Group feels about Mike Sullivan. That's why he hasn't gone anywhere to this point. I'm not saying they don't make a move, but yeah, it's not scapegoating. It's about what happens when things go awry. Think back to 2014, 2015. I guess it was 2015, 16, but things weren't going great with Mike Johnston. You make the change with the coach. How much does a coach have influence over the players? It certainly doesn't seem like Mike Sullivan has a ton right now. I mean, maybe you need to get Tristan Jarry back and see what your team looks like when whole. But yes, Gary, I am very surprised they haven't made a move. And frankly, I don't know how you don't. Like, you can't start trading Sid, Geno, Letang, break it up, or make some sort of aggressive move without seeing how they play Son Sullivan, right? And this isn't advocating for Mike to be fired. I mean, it's just sort of being realistic with the situation. I like Mike. I think he'll have a job in about 5 minutes. It's just all coaches run their course with the team. And I feel like that's kind of happened here. All right, guys, thanks so much for the questions. That does it for this week. I will be back on a Steelers-Ravens wrap-up for Monday morning. Can't wait for that. Looking forward to Penguins Blue Jackets as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get a whole bunch of content in this place, First 10, and so much more. And as always, again, thank you for watching. Talk to you Monday.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.